Okay, guys, so a little bit more. Now we're going to get into actually some practice problems where we're solving the quadratic equation by graphing. You're going to find that these are more simple than those problems we started off with, all right? These are actually really straightforward and easy. So remember when we say we're solving the quadratic equations, that we're going to come up with solutions. Most of the time with a quadratic equation, I'm going to have two solutions. But sometimes I only have one. Remember, there's three possibilities. I could have two real solutions. I could have just one real solution, and that would be a double solution. We call it a double root. Or I could have two imaginary solutions. Yes, thank you. The imaginary is the same thing as complex. Just to refresh y'all's memory, an imaginary number is one that has an I in it. I is equal to the square root of 1. So something like 3i, that's an imaginary number. Once I add a real number to it, this whole thing becomes a complex number. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about complex solutions. All right, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to solve these quadratic equations by graphing. Here are my 3 steps. Number 1, arrange the equation so that the right-hand side is equal to 0. So I'm going to move everything over onto the left-hand side, and I just want 0 on the right side of the equal sign. Number 2, graph the left-hand side of the equation in your calculator as y equals. And then number 3, we're going to obtain the x-intercepts. And the values of these are the solutions of your quadratic equations. So this is really straightforward. I move everything over to one side of the 0. I graph it, and then I find the x-intercepts, and that's my solution right there. Cool. So let's look at this first one. It says solve the quadratic equations by graphing. Answers in 2 decimal places, and sketch and label the graph. My first step for A is I need to get everything over on one side of the equal sign, okay? So I'll tell you what, to be honest, it says up here, get it on the right-hand side. That doesn't matter. Just get everything over on one side of the equal sign, okay? In this case, to do that, I'm going to subtract 7. I need to do it to both sides. I end up with 2x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. And that's my key. I have 0 on one side of my equation, right? So now what I can do is I can go to my calculator. I'm going to enter this in under y equals. I'm going to graph it, and I'm going to find my x-intercepts. And those are going to be my solutions. So let's do that real quick.
What are you doing? There's someone at the door.
Okay, hang on. Can you get for him? Thanks. Well, sweet. All right, so I got over here, I got 2, oops. I need to go to y equals to graph this 2. I got 2x squared plus 5x minus 7. Throw it in right there, hit my graph button. Boom, I got my parabola, it's opening up. Okay. Let me go ahead and find my x-intercepts before I write this up on the board. For you guys at this point, you can go ahead and sketch this out. Sketch your graph real quick, and then you'll label your x-intercepts. For me, I'm going to do it all in the calculator at the same time because as soon as I start writing on this document, it messes up and it freezes my calculator. So to calculate my x-intercepts, I go to second calc. I'm calculating my zeros because at these points, my y value is equal to 0. Need to be left bound in my first one. Need to be right bound in my first one. There I am. Hit enter. My first Intercept is at x equals negative 3.5. All right, I'm gonna go calculate my second one. So I got to repeat the whole process. Second, calc 0. Left bound, I'm left bound. I'm right bound. Oops. Just start over again. 0. I'm left bound. I'm right bound. Don't need to guess. My x value is 1. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and graph this. Draw a quick sketch. And I want to label my x-intercepts. So this is the point negative 3.5 comma 0. And this is the point positive 1 comma 0. So what are my solutions? Just my x values right here for my intercepts. So negative 3.5 or a positive 1. I have 2 solutions. 2 real solutions for that one. So solving them in your calculator is really easy. Get everything over to one side of the equation, throw it in your calculator, graph it, and find the x-intercepts. Right?